L'chaim v'levracha. L'chaim, everybody. Today's learning in honor of the yortzites, a few yortzites that we have today. We have Perla Bas Avram, her 18th yortzite. Bracha Bas Yeshua. Bernice Brender, for those who remember. Jackie Gobert has yortzite today for his father, Pesach Ben Meir. And Maury, his father Mike. And I have a yortzite today for my grandmother. It's only her 54th yortzite. Blima Bas Shmuel, my father's mother. Her yortzite. So alachaim to all those. Perla Bas Avram, and Shamash and Aliyah, and all of the Yidden Yeshia. L'chaim. L'chaim, l'chaim. Oh, wow. It went down like water. Okay, Chumash and Rashi, folks. We're in Parshas Shemos, the sixth portion, the sixth reading. Okay. Moshe has been appointed as the leader of the Jewish people. Been appointed the leader of the Jewish people. He doesn't make it easy as any Jewish leader. Wow. He's inaugurated. It's inauguration. A Jewish leader is inaugurated, not with fanfare. It's between God Almighty and the leader. It's not done in front of people. It was done by a burning bush. No one else was there. And what's his duty? It's a difficult one. Is to take care of the people, to be there for Bnei Yisrael, the children of Israel. And he's not looking for, he doesn't want to have the job, but
Wait a year. Did he wait a year?
no, not at all.
No.
And now he's off to duty. He's off to duty. Okay, so we are in chapter 4, verse number 18 of the book of Exodus, Shemos. Let us, Vayelach Moshe, and Moshe went, V'yashav, and he returned El Yisrael, to Yisrael, Chaisai, his father-in-law. Rashi picks up on that. Why does he return to his father-in-law? Remember, God gave him a mission. He's got to go now to Egypt. So why is he returning to his father-in-law? Rashi will pick up on that. And he said to him, Elchana, I will go, please. Ashuva, and I will return Achai to my brothers that are in the land of Egypt. And I will see if they're still alive. And Yisrael said, to Moshe, Lech l'shalom, go in peace. So what's happening over here? Well, why is Moshe going to him? Well, if you remember previously, when he married into the family, right? He married Zipporah, his daughter. So he told him that you don't leave here without my permission, and he accepted that. Rashi says, and he returned to Yisrael, his father-in-law, told Rishus to get permission from him to leave for Egypt. Because if you remember, Moshe swore to Yisrael, that he wouldn't leave Midian except with his permission. Right? We had that in chapter 2, verse 21. Yeshiva, Shemos Hayulai, and he had 7 names: Yisrael, Roel, Yeser, Yisrael, Kini, Chayvev, Chever, Putiel. He had 7 different names.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why did he have to ask his father-in-law permission to leave?
Because he promised him that he won't leave without his permission. Why did he do that, Moshe? I'm not, I don't know. Rashi doesn't bring down why he did that, but the fact is he did. If you look at in chapter 2, verse 21, you'll see the very fact that he did, promise him that he's not going to go anywhere without his permission. So now he's following through.
Based on that obligation.
Yeah, based on that obligation. So he's following through. Why Moshe did that? That's actually a very good question. I don't, why would it oblige himself? I think that was part of the marriage contract. Okay. Continue verse 19. Vayomer Hashem el Moshe, and Hashem said to Moshe, but in Midjan, Lech, go, Shuv, return, Mitzrayim, to Egypt. Kimesu kol hanashim hamevakshim es nafshecha. Oh, for all the men who seek your life have died. Okay.
That's when you murdered somebody, right?
Well, yes. Rashi says, Kimesu kol hanashim. So listen to Rashi. Interesting. Rashi says that they died, right? Mihem. Who are they that died? Who are they? Dasan Aviram. You remember, right? The beginning of the, right? Huh?
They're witnesses.
They're the witnesses to the Chaim hayu elasha yardu min nichaseim. They were alive, Rashi says. Do you have a problem over here? And what Rashi just said, that they're alive?
One thing he says is still.
But they had lost their possessions. And someone who is stricken with poverty is considered like a dead person. So do you have a problem over here?
I'm poor, no?
Hmm?
We learned it from Yaakov. When Eliphaz took everything we had.
Right, but
was supposed
no,
to
yeah,
kill him.
right, but fine, but there, we're learning from Rashi now. How does Rashi know over here that they didn't literally die? How do you know from this verse? Now you know later on because Dasan of Aviram will be later on mentioned, but we don't know that now. So how does Rashi come and state this here in Pshuto Shamikra, the simple meaning of the text, when from this verse, how do you know that it doesn't mean literally? That seemingly. Later on, when we will have it, because they went out and took on. They went looking on Shabbos for man, right? Later on. Well, that's later on. How do we know from that? How could it be over here that how does Rashi? I don't know. I don't know. But you're right. We know the concept, Chaim, that you said is true. But the question in Rashi is, where does Rashi get it from these words? How does Rashi deduce from these words and in this context that it means that they only became poor and that they weren't literally that they died? And just because you become poor, what does that mean? You can't come after him? Like, how does it make sense even? I don't get it.
And the thing is, if Hashem says that they are dead, well, they're dead. You would expect them to be not alive.
Seemingly,
Yeah.
right. In other words, why would God speak in a euphemism? It's a euphemism, right? But why is God speaking in a euphemism? That's another question, right? Good. Okay. We gotta learn how to question Rashi, right? When we're learning. I don't have the answer, but we'll see if the Rebbe Sicha gives an answer. Okay, verse 20. V'yikach Moshe, and Moshe took as Ishtay, his wife, V'ezbanav and his children, V'yarkiveim, and he made them ride ala chamor, on the donkey. V'yashav artzek Mitzrayim, and he returned to the land of Egypt. V'yikach Moshe's mate elikim biyadin, and Moshe took the mata. The mata is the staff of God in his hands. Okay, anything that's bothering you in this? Thank you, Shmuel. Anything that's bothering you in the verse? So Rashi is going to pick up. It says al hachamor. What do you mean on the donkey? On a donkey. Why hachamor? What do you mean the donkey? So Rashi is going to say, he's going to pick up on that. And Rashi is going to say in verse number 20, Rashi says, Allah chamor, chamor miyuchad means a particular unique donkey. Hu chamor shechavash Avram, the Kedus Yitzchak. It is the donkey that Avram saddled for the binding of Yitzchak. And it's the one that Mashiach, the King Mashiach, is destined to be revealed upon. Shenema, as the verse says, Ani, a humble man, Verechav al Chamor, and he's riding on a donkey. Who's the utmost humble person after Moses? The most, not after him, but actually, I don't know. That actually is even more. Is Mashiach. How's he humble? He's going to come riding on a donkey. Now, what that means, we're not going to deal with that now because we're learning Chumash and Rashi, but the deeper meaning, what that means, we're not going to deal that now, right?
After I'll tell you.
Yeah. But I'm saying, but we have to focus on Chumash and Rashi so we can make sure we finish that. But the Rebbe has Sikha on this that explains beautifully this idea over here. Yeah, we have when we finish, we have time at the end, then we go into deeper understanding. Okay, V'yashev and he returned to the land of Egypt. Moshe took the staff. That which comes first and that which follows is not precisely in chronological order in the verse over here, right? Because taking of the staff can be mentioned in the verse after to return to Egypt, although it's obviously precedes it. Others, you got to take the staff from where you came from, then you return, right? So, in other words, because it's not a chronological order. Then why is it not in chronological order? Right? In the simple meaning of the text, that's not a problem. Sometimes Rashi will explain why, but it's not an inherent problem that it's not in chronological order. Okay? 21, next verse. But Yemer Hashem, and Hashem said, Al Moshe to Moshe, V'lechtecha, wherein you're going, Lo Shivlei Mitzrayim, in returning to Egypt, Re'eh, see, Kol HaMoifsim, all of the wonders, actually Moifsim is wonders, not miracles, Asher Samti, that I have placed, B'yadecha, in your hands, V'asisa, see some rather, and you shall do them, Lifnei Pharaoh, before Pharaoh, V'ani Achazek, and I will harden his libo, his heart, and he will not send the people. Wow. Okay, it's getting. Rashi, when you go and return to Egypt, you need to know that on this condition, that's where you're going to Egypt. That you need to be a gibor, a strong guy in my mission. So what's our strength? Rashi is saying our strength is when we're going in God's mission. That's our strength, and you got to do it in a strong way. Last is called Pharaoh in order to perform all of the wonders before Pharaoh. And do not fear him. That I have placed in your hand. So Rashi says, so what does it mean? What does it mean he placed in his hand? What did he place in his hand? It's an unusual term, right? So Rashi says it's not the three things that happened previously, the three signs, right? When the staff turned into a snake, Moshe put his hand in and it came out into tsaras, he had leprosy, right? And the water of the Nile turning to blood. No, not those three things. Doesn't refer to that. Because God did not command Moshe to perform them before Parai. But who should he do it? Before the Jewish people in order that they should believe him. Remember, he had a problem. What was Moshe's problem? Right? That was one problem. What else? What other problem did he have?
Denial.
Huh?
Denial.
Who denial?
Denial saved him. He couldn't make it blood.
Yeah, but that's not his problem on
So
why.
that's the
That's not
problem.
his problem on why not to go to. His problem was that he felt that he wasn't fit for the job. Another problem was that he felt the Jews weren't ready for redemption. That they remember God wanted to strike him because of that, right? He wanted to strike him. He says, "Well, how come you're speaking Lashon Hara against the Jewish people?" He was upset with that. So, but he felt that the Jewish people weren't fitting to be redeemed because of Dasan and Aviram, there's such Jews that slander and do and want to hit one another, so they're not fitting to be redeemed. That's back then, and then even now, which is about 40 years later, by the way, when he first came to Midian, and now when he's 80 years old, it's 40 years have passed that he was in Midian. A long time, right? So he didn't feel that. So God, so he's saying you're going to do these wonders before the Jewish people. Why? So they should believe in you. And we do not find that Moshe performed them before Pharaoh. These three. So then what does it mean? These wonders that I'm putting in your hand. What is that a reference to? Such as the wonder that refers in the verse, so when Pharaoh will speak to you, and don't be puzzled by the fact that it says that I put. In other words, in the past tense, although it's referring to an event that is yet to take place, because the meaning is as follows. When you, Moshe, will speak to Pharaoh, I already put these wonders into your hand.
Still not sure what are the wonders and marvels.
I'm also a little not clear. I'm also a little not clear. Because he doesn't say it's the 10 plagues. He doesn't say it's the 10 plagues, right? It's him speaking to Pharaoh. I get it, because he said, don't go. What was the previous verse said? Don't be afraid, right? You're going to be afraid. You're talking about being in front of Pharaoh, right? Wow. You know what God's saying right now? Bibi, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of someone who you think he's your friend, but maybe right now he's doing something that's not being friendly, forcing you to do something. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Why? Because I've given the wonders in your hand. Wow. Is that timely or what? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Not that Bibi is fair, is Moshe. He isn't, but the lesson is to be taken for every one of us. So the way I'm understanding it, תיקח את החומש שמה, תסתכל שמה, באמצע הלימוד, אי אפשר. תראה look at verse 21. So the way I'm understanding it is that he needs to have in other words, the wonders are in your hand, that when you're going to stand before him, that you're going to be strong. That in connecting with the previous verse, that don't be afraid. You're going to be strong in the mission. I've given you the wonders in your hand, that what you're going to be able to say and do what you got to do. So the wonders are not God's wonders here. The wonder is in Moshe, that he needs to know that it's all in his hands, that he's given the power to fulfill the mission, and there's nothing to fear. Is that like an amazing empowerment? Wow. Not the plagues. That the interesting thing is it's right. It's not the plagues. It's his power that he's giving to him to do what he's got to do. Verse 22. Right? Because now look at what he's saying. Now, and then say to Pharaoh, in other words, know that you've got the power in you of the wonders I've given to you in your hand. And say to Pharaoh, Hashem. So says God, B'ni b'chayr Israel. Wow. B'ni, my son, b'chayri, my firstborn, Israel. Rashi. To see on this. And you shall say to Pharaoh, that when you, Moshe, will hear that Pharaoh's heart is hardened, and he refuses to send forth Israel from slavery, this is what you got to tell him. This is what you have to tell him. Wow, my firstborn. Firstborn is not to be taken literally here, but rather Lashon Gedula. It's an expression of greatness. that the word Bechor over here means I too will make him a firstborn. Zeu pshuta, and this is a simple meaning. Midrasha, the midrashic explanation is Kan. Here it means Chasam HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That Hashem has fixed his seal, certifying the validity of the sale of the firstborn, the birthright of the firstborn. That Yaakov took from Esau. Wow. Not the simple meaning. Why Rashi has to bring down the Medrash, I'm not certain. Don't know why. But in other words, till now, that God didn't seal the firstborn rights that it comes to Yaakov until this moment. He sealed it. Right? Because look at the words. The simple meaning means who's the firstborn? What does simple meaning mean? Who's the firstborn? Bnei Israel, the children of Israel. What is the Midrash saying? Who's the firstborn? Yaakov. Israel is Yaakov's name, right? So he's my firstborn. In other words, the right, I'm now stamping clear that he has the right of the firstborn. Before that, who gave the stamp of approval? Only Yitzchak gave. The father gave, right? He said, after he gave it to Yaakov, he says, "Oh, he's going to be blessed. I gave him the blessings; they belong to him." Right?
But why would Pharaoh care about that?
What's got to do with Pharaoh?
Yeah, but you must say to Pharaoh, Israel is my firstborn. So
whether it's so a good question. So because I asked the question before that, why would Rashi bring down the Midrash over here if we have the simple meaning? So I think that's part of the empowerment. In other words, God is saying, you are Yaakov, right? Israel, the Jewish people, which is now, the Jewish people, I am solidifying my covenant with you that you are the one. So that means that's the power. No, that's the power of Moshe. It's got nothing to do with who you're talking to. It's got everything to do. Who are you as empowerment, and who's taught that God gave him the empowerment? That's part of the empowerment. I'm now sealing the deal with Yaakov Avinu, with Bnei Israel, and therefore the extension is Bnei Israel. I'm sealing the deal. Mm-hmm. So therefore you've got the strength to go with the empowerment.
Why doesn't Rashi brings Israel, since it's Yaakov anyway?
You mean in the Divrei Maschil? In the Divrei Maschil? In the Divrei Maschil, you're asking.
Saying Bnei Bechori, taking from the pasuk.
And she should say Israel also.
Huh?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, good question. Yeah. Chaim is asking in the Divrei Maschil, which means what Rashi quotes from the verse, right? He only quotes Bnei Bechori. Why does he take the word Israel? The whole point is, who is the Bechor? It's Israel, right? And he doesn't bring that. And according to the Midrash explanation, the whole point that it's Israel. Good question. Okay, let's continue. 23. And I say to you, Shalach is b'ni, send my child, my son, v'yavduni, and they shall serve me, and he will refuse to send the Jewish people. And behold, I will kill your firstborn son. So what's your problem over here? What? There's 9 plagues before this. Why is he only mentioning the 10th plague?
Because it's Bechor and Bechor.
Well, what am I saying? We need Rashi. Rashi's going to explain. That's not our explanation, right? No, wait. No, I'm asking because Rashi has a problem and he's going to bring it up. So we need, that's the whole, but what we're trying to teach here is how to learn a pasuk and ask the question, and then how Rashi will answer the question. That's the methodology over here, right? Okay, But I hear what you're saying, but we're going to see where Rashi says, and it seems not to say that, which
No,
that then
I don't
becomes a
understand
question.
he has
Why?
a problem.
Huh?
I don't understand why he has a problem. There is no problem.
Well,
Sounds like,
let's see.
you're taking care of my before, I'll take care of your before.
Let's see, Rashi. Oimei alech, and I say to you, B'shlichus shel Malkam. I'm saying this to you as an emissary of God, Shalach, as Beni, send out my son. Continuation of what he said earlier. Next Rashi. V'hine anechi hayri, and behold, I will kill. He maka achrayna. This is the final plague. Ubad asro tchila, and he warns Pharaoh about it first. Mipnei shehu kasha, because it is the most severe of them all. V'zeu shenema b'yuv, and this is what it says in Job. Hein Kel Yasgiv Bekeichai, behold, God is exalted in his might. Lefikach mi kamayim therefore, who can instruct as he does? When a human being of flesh and blood comes to seek to take vengeance against his fellow man, Mailim is devara. He conceals his words and speaks secretively. Shlo yivakish hatzola, in order that the intended victim should not seek to be saved from his vengeance. Aval HaKadosh Baruch Hu yaski b'keichai. But Hashem is exalted in his might. Because no one's possible to escape from his hand. Except unless you do tshuva. If you do repentance, then you can. Therefore, he instructs the sinner, and he warns him to repent. Wow. So this now also fits in with the whole. Wow, I'm following over here the way Rashi's learning. This is all about an empowerment to Moshe, right? In other words, tell him, you're going in my shlichus, and that's why he has to repeat over here. You're going in my mission. And part of my mission is, therefore, no one can be saved from me unless what? They do tshuva. Unless they do tshuva. Pharaoh will not be able to. So you don't have to worry. And therefore, you could tell him at the outset what's going to happen. It doesn't matter what kind of plan he's going to make. He's going to try to save this and that. It's not going to work. And that's all being told to Moshe to empower him in his mission. Wow.
I think he's saying that when it comes to humans, the person is hiding it, is not going to tell his plan to have revenge.
Yeah.
But Hashem only reveals it because he wants to give you a chance to do tshuva.
Right. But that's not why Rashi's saying this. It's true what you're saying, but that's not why Rashi is saying this. Rashi is saying this because this is part of the mission that Moshe needs to be aware of, and therefore that's why you could say what's going to be at the end, and don't worry that he is going to think that he could get, somehow get out of it and find some way out of it. He's not going to find a way out of it unless he does tshuva. That's all about Moshe being aware of this and empowerment. Huh?
Then why would Hashem harden his heart? If he's saying this in order for him to do tshuva.
No. That's the point. It's not about that. That's my point I'm making. It's about Moshe being aware that this is the strength that you have, that you could even tell him what the end game is. And the end game, he's not going to be able to get out of it because you're doing my mission. And if you're doing your thing and you're the general, and I'm going to now tell you what my plans are. Obviously, if I'm telling you what my plan to my enemy, what my plan is, you're going to find a way to get out of it, right? But no, you're doing my mission. So since you're doing my mission, there's no way you can get out of it. So it's all about empowering Moshe with an understanding of what he is how he has to deal with this.
Why is he talking about tshuva here, Rashi?
No, so why does he mention the tshuva? Because that's a good question. But that's not part of the point. That's actually a good question. Why does he mention that? Because that's a side point. Good question. Okay, 25. We got to truck a bit because I want to finish. Okay, Batika.
When Moses was.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Vahi baderech, and he was on the way, but alone in a lodging. V'yifgashehu Hashem, and God met him, confronted him. V'yivakish Amisa, he wanted to kill him. Whoa, look at this. He's just empowering with every hand. All of a sudden, look what's going on over here. So obviously Rashi is blown away over here, right? Like, whoa, what's going on? Right? Vayhi, Moshe b'derech b'molein, and Moshe was in Vayivakish Amisai. Rashi is obviously bothered what's going on over here. So he says that he sought to kill him. The angel sought to kill Moshe. Because he did not circumcise his son Eliezer. Because he was a little remiss. Nenash was punished with the death penalty. Tanya, this is stated learning in the Brisa. Rabbi Yossi says, Chas v'sholom, God forbid. He wasn't remiss, he wasn't lazy, but he said like this. If I will do the circumcision and then depart on going to Egypt to do the mission, it's a danger for the child for 3 days after the circumcision. I will then perform the circumcision and wait 3 days. And Hashem had commanded me, Leich shuv Mitzrayim, go and return to Egypt. So then why was he punished with death? Because he busied himself with the arrangements of the inn before doing the mitzvah of circumcision. Should have done circumcision first and then deal with, payment, arrangements for the inn. The angel who came to punish Moshe was made a form of a serpent. He swallowed Moshe from head to his thighs. Then he swallowed him from the feet to that place of the male organ. And who understood? Tzipora understood. She understood because of delaying for the circumcision. That's why he was being punished. Whoa. How do we know? Because look at the next verse. V'tikach Tzipora, and Tzipora took tzror, but the whole reason we know this because the following verse, otherwise how would Rashi understand this, right? In the context, he understands it. V'tikach says, Arlas bina, and she did the circumcision. She cut her son's foreskin. V'tagibel raglav, and she threw it to his feet. V'taymer, and she said to El Chosen, and she said, to her bridegroom, meaning to her husband, Chosen damim atali, that you're my bridegroom's a bloodshed. Let's see, Rashi.
She threw it at the baby's feet.
Yeah, the baby's feet. Okay, yeah. Tagala raglav, and she touched it to his feet. Well, no, actually, Rashi said before the feet of Moshe. No, he said before the feet of Moshe. The baby was it was a 8-day-old baby, right? But Tamer, and she said, Al-Bana, in reference to her son, she said, Ki chasen dami mata, you're a husband, right, of blood, you are to me. Ata yisa gerim liya is a chasen shali nirtzach alecha. You would have caused my husband to be murdered because of you. Ishi atali, the killer of my husband, you are to me. In other words, to the Nachash. To the serpent. Wow.
Who's she talking to? The baby or the serpent or who?
It sounds like to the serpent.
Okay.
That's, yeah. Vayiref mimenu. And the angel of God released Moshe. Az Amra, then she said, Chasen damim lamulais. Now you are my husband for bloodshed of circumcision. In other words, now became, for good.
According to this translation in Kabbalah, the you that refers to the baby. She said to the baby, you almost caused my bridegroom's bloodshed.
Okay, fine. All right.
Chatani and
Okay.
not Baali?
Huh?
Why Chatani and not Baali?
Good question.
They have a child already.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna
It was after 40 years, it was still Shana Rishona. First year of marriage. I don't, good question. Good question. Right, why I should say Bali, my husband, why Chatan, which is a bridegroom, which, they're married 40 years. Yeah, okay, let's see Rashi, Vayiraf, and he loosened his hold on Malach Mimenu, he loosened the hold on Moshe. Oz then, Ivinu, Shalamila Bala Hargoy, she understood that he came to kill him because of the circumcision. Amra Chasan Dami Lamoluz, so she's a husband of blood because of the circumcision. Chasani Haya Nirtzach,
You prophet?
Al Davar. Var Mila, my husband would have been murdered over the circumcision, Lamalus, because of the circumcision, Advar Hamulais, because of the matter of circumcision, Shem Davar, it is a noun, Lam and the prefix, Mishamesh is Belashon Al, means concerning, right? Kamoi, Amar Bnei Israel. The uncle's tirgum, damim. Uncle's in terms of blood preceding here means the threat of the death of Moshe. But Rashi interprets it as al dam lamila, the dam of circumcision. Okay, let's continue so we can finish off the few verses over here with this. Yemer Hashem el Aaron. Hashem said to Aaron, Lech, go. Likras Moshe, to greet Moshe, B'hamidbara, in the desert, V'elech, and he went, V'gasheo Bahar Elohim, and he went and met him by the mountain of God, V'yishak loi, and he kissed him. Right, V'yaged Moshe el Aaron, and Moshe said to Aaron, it's called Divrei Hashem, all of the words of God. Asher shalach, that he has sent him. There's kol ha'isas asher tzivo, and all of the signs that he instructed him to that he has to do. V'elech Moshe v'Aaron, and Moshe and Aaron went. V'yasu is called Ziknei b'nei Israel, and they went and gathered all the elders of the Israelites. V'yidaber Aaron is called Advarim asher diber Hashem al Moshe, and Aaron had spoken all of these things that Moshe, that God had spoken to Moshe. V'yasu is le'enei ha'am, and he did all of the miracles, the signs, right, as miracles in front of the people. Remember, earlier we said that those signs, the three of them, were for the people. And the people believed. V'yishmu, and they heard. Paked Hashem is bnei Israel, that God is coming to, Paked means to redeem the bnei Israel. Because God saw their misery. And they prostrated and they bowed in thanks to Hashem. Wow. Amazing.
5 minutes.
Wow. So great that we're back home with Rashi. Amazing.